Oh, yeah, you mean sit inside.
All right. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Our regular meeting of April 5th, 2023 has been called to order. Madam Clerk, please, we would like to begin with a roll call.
All right, Chair Manafort.
Here.
Vice Chair Duncan.
Here.
Commissioner Morgan.
Here.
Commissioner Griffin is absent. Commissioner Nunley. Commissioner Osmany.
Here.
Commissioner Ramos. Commissioner Ross.
Here.
Commissioner Stajabu.
Here.
Commissioner Starks. Okay, and Commissioner Wu.
Present.
Okay.
I believe we have a quorum. Okay, we'll now move to the public comment section of the agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the public comment description on the agenda.
All right. Persons wishing to address the commission on subjects not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the commission may do so at this time. The commission cannot discuss or take action on matters not on the agenda for this meeting. To speak on an agenda item, please complete a speaker's card and give it to the agency clerk. When participating via Zoom or phone, please use the raise your hand feature or press *9 on your phone. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes per item. And I'm showing no speakers.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the consent items on the agenda. Madam Clerk, please read the consent item.
All matters listed on consent are to be approved by one motion unless a commissioner or the public requests a separate action is taken on a specific item. It looks like we just have one item, the approval of commission minutes for March 1st.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent item as presented?
Motion to approve.
Okay. If there's no objections, we will adopt the motion to adopt the consent item as presented. And that there are no objections, the consent item is adopted. We will now move to the discussion items. But before we do, I would like to thank the staff and the clerk for sending us the link to the large document for today's meeting. It was helpful and as always very helpful. So today's agenda item number 2 is the approval of application for home key funds from the State Department of Housing and Community Development in the amount of $17 million and conditional loan commitment with Danco Communities, Inc. in the amount of $17,320 million for the Madison Square Studios project located at 4317 Madison Avenue. There will be a presentation from staff. Please begin.
SHRA. And the report before you recommends approval of an application to the State of California Home Key Program and approval of local funds to be used as match for the Madison Sacramento Studios Home Key project. For a little bit of background, California's Home Key project provides funding to expand housing options for people experiencing homelessness or those at risk of homelessness. And this is the 3rd round of Home Key funds and the 3rd time that SHRA is going to be applying for Home Key funds. In round 1, SHRA received funding in partnership with Mersey Housing for the La Mancha project that you may remember. And in round 2, we received funding for the Central Sacramento Studios project in partnership with Danco, and also for the Vista Nueva project in partnership with Jamboree Housing. So the La Mancha project is complete, and the ones for round 2 are underway and expected to be completed soon. The round 3 Home Key NOFA was issued on March 29th, and with a statewide allocation of approximately $736 million. Our regional allocation is $37 million, and we will be applying for $17 million of those funds for the Madison Sacramento Studios project, which will be matched by $17 million in local funding. Excuse me. proposed project will convert the former Super 8 motel located at 4317 Aston Avenue into 118 studios and 1 management unit. These will be permanent supportive housing units for formerly homeless individuals. There will be lots of amenities on site, including a swimming pool, which is actually already there, basketball court, pickleball court, bike rack, trash, recycling enclosure, fenced dog area, smoking area, and outdoor gazebo. Our partner in the project is Danco Communities, and Chris Stark from Danco is here with us today. As mentioned previously, Danco is our partner on the Central Sacramento Studios project, which is actually across the street. And they have developed more than 25 affordable housing projects throughout California since 1986. They will also serve as the asset manager and property manager, and a local organization, Lutheran Social Services, is going to be the resident service and supportive service provider. There will be 24/7 desk coverage at the site and 4 full-time case managers. And 1 case manager is going to be funded from the county's Mental Health Services Act program. So we're really hitting the ground running with these. The NOFA came out, began submitting on April 24th, so that's our goal. We hope to get an award notice in about 3 months after that. And then construction of the improvements needs to begin as soon as we have the grant agreement in place and needs to be complete in approximately 12 months. So that concludes my presentation, and we're here for any questions you have.
Thank you, recognizing that. Okay. Yes, it's on. Okay. Are there any questions from commissioners? Commissioner Nunn?
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation. I really do appreciate it. Just a couple of questions. One thing that I noticed in, I believe it was the title, it actually makes the statement on subject. It says application and conditional loan commitment with Sacramento Madison Avenue LP Danco Communities, and then it says or related entity, and that kind of threw me. Are we?
I think our attorney, and maybe Carolyn can chime in, but I think we typically just include this in case the LP or the LLC changes their name.
Okay, all right, and that's going to be the same thing on the next one, so I won't ask it twice. The other thing that I really noticed about this, and I was happy with it, 15 of the units will be devoted to mental health, if I'm not mistaken, is what it said in the body of this, and that flows from the county where they have the mental health funds and things like that. Would you just talk on that a little bit? I think it's a really great thing that SHRA is doing with that.
Yeah, we work in partnership with the county on that program and have for quite some time. Michelle's probably more of an expert on it than I am, but it is funds designed to help with mental health issues, and they have specialists in that area that would be assigned to the site.
Yes, in fact, we have on all of our home key projects partnered with the county to include MHSA units, and then they actually provide the services for those clients. So in addition to the financial benefit, then we also have the social services support as well. But yeah, it's a great partnership.
Yeah, it was really nice to see that in there. I did notice that the number of units went down from 129 to 118 plus the one for the manager, but that's because you guys are taking some of those and you have to use them for offices or other things. I also noticed that it's 30% of AMI, which is very, very low income, which would qualify most of the homeless. But I did have a question on that because since they're 100% that the people have to be 30% or lower, what do you do when it's families? Because if they're that low, and I'm assuming they're all pretty much the same size, if it's just one person, that's, one thing, but if it's families where it's 2 or 3, I kind of wonder.
Well, I believe this, and maybe Chris might be able to help out, but I believe these units can accommodate a couple, and then the income would be adjusted up for the 2-person household, so it wouldn't have to be as low as that.
Okay.
So in situations where it's an actual family there, the occupancy standards for ACV would kick in, because I believe that these are project-based vouchers that you're applying for, and so they allow 2 per, sleeping area, so we would not have a family, because it's just not enough space.
Okay. And then the other thing was during the actual loan documents, that would be the conditional loan commitment for Madison Square. I noticed in there, which I think is a good thing, on Article 19 and Article 20, it talks about the architectural agreement, which the agency has to approve, and I think that's good. And also the construction contract, the agency, SHRA, has to approve, which I thought is great. But I did have a question on that. Is there any chance that in some of those, they could have maybe internships for the tradespeople? Because, and especially internships for those that are underrepresented in the trades union, that type of thing. Have you guys just looked at that? I'm not saying, obviously, it's not a key part of this, but is there something that will be done with that?
Good afternoon, Chris Hart, Danco Communities. We do work with a lot of interns in the trades. Our company does a lot of self-perform work as well. We do framing, carpentry, painting, roofing, but we're primarily a general contractor. We're not opposed to it. I don't really know the specifics on how to answer that, but we do work with a lot of interns, with a lot of young folks. We do have our own training systems and to bring up some of those newer people getting into the trade, so we're open.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I know we couldn't say it's a requirement or anything like that, but I just wondered if there could be outreach on that. And I think that's the end of my questions on this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Nunley, I just wanted to weigh in on your, it's Carolyn Garden. I just wanted to weigh in on your first question about the related entities, to provide some more clarification. Occasionally, the related entity is an entity that was created solely for the project by Danco or whoever happens to be the developer on the project. So just another circumstance where we would use one.
Yeah, the name was pretty specific, wasn't it? Like Sacramento, Madison, LP. So that follows along with what you're saying. Okay, thank you.
All right, I see a question from Commissioner Ross.
Yes, hey, thank you for the presentation and some of the comments. Project Home Key is always exciting because I was watching the PBS special the other day, and a lot of states don't have it. They're running into problems. They don't have it, and they wish they had it, so California was highlighted. So I like the idea of, converting hotels and so forth. So some of the questions that I'm going to ask, I'll probably repeat it because they'll have to do with the other project also, but more specifically with this particular project. So I do like the mental health services. That's, as Commissioner Nunley mentioned, that's extremely important, so I'm glad that's factored in, using the Cal Mesa funding mental health, the mental health services, and I'm glad to hear that and see that. Some of the other, and I'm also glad that folks are able to have the ability to cook their own food. I think there was a kitchenette. I'm curious on the other side. I didn't see that. Was it there? It is there? It will be added. Okay, so that's great. People need to have their own self-sufficiency. But I do have some questions. I guess, Commissioner Nunley, we get the same kind of questions sometimes, similarly. But about workforce development and getting people job services, and then mine also has to do with recovery services. And, many folks that are coming off of mental homeless situations, I don't know if it's just specific to, the 15 that get to have mental health services, but a lot of us need mental health services, probably, especially coming out of COVID. I mean, everybody went down a notch. I'm thinking it was just starting to celebrate, but unsure whether, the landscape for the future is going to be, squeaky clean. So that's my question, and that has to do with mental health services. Will that be made available to all? Because we don't want people to slide backwards, we want them to move forward. Number two, I've gone to different sites when people are talking about, which one was it? I was at a site once, and they were talking about the idea that people never are able to move forward. So what about recovery services? Because people who have addiction issues, it's hard to be employed when you have them.
Right.
And I think all sites should have that to help folks move forward and try to figure out some ways to incentivize folks to get to work if they're able to work, and to get the mental health services if they're able, and which includes recovery services. So that's one other item. And my last one has to do, I was listening to Insight this morning, and I was curious to see mobility services. There's some electric vehicles, shared vehicles, other types of deals, because people trying to get to work, sometimes to get, I looked at the location, I didn't see light rail, although I know it's off of Madison, I don't know exactly how close it is, or whether there's good transportation, but the other one seemed like it was more like towards Cal Expo coming up, and I don't think they're near a lot of transportation. So there was an innovative idea that I heard today about stationing, and this was happening with the San Joaquin Housing Authority. They were stationing electric vehicles and electric bikes at folks that homeless, affordable housing units, and allowing people to, utilize those to help them get to their transportation hub so that they can get to and from work. So I put out a lot, but those are going to be questions that I'm going to ask for both sides. So maybe we can't handle both because they're both separate topics, but those are things that I would like to hear about.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a stab, and then Michelle will probably have something. So we, most definitely, Lutheran Social Services will be doing both substance abuse, recovery, mental health, job. They really will, they'll go in and tailor the needs to the residents there. So, and then to answer your other question, I think we have had some discussions that public transit there is a little bit lacking. I think the nearest bus stop is about a quarter to a half a mile away. So we have been in discussions with maybe providing a van, and that would be able to take folks to grocery stores. But we do, and then having some conversations with RT about public transit as well. But
So on Madison Square Studios, I think the bus stop is across the street, is what I remember. It's right in front of the church.
Yeah.
Liberty Towers Church.
I need to get to it, it's about a quarter mile.
yeah, just because the place is kind of back and we have to go out.
Yeah, okay, so maybe.
It's walkable.
It's
walkable.
It's pretty walkable. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then in terms of mobility and having ride share, car share, that is something that the agency has done over the past several years, where we actually did partner and have electric vehicles at some of our affordable housing sites, as well as our public housing sites, where our residents could check out the vehicle for doctor's appointments, whatever it is that they need, grocery shopping, those types of things. So yes, we definitely look at it.
Are they utilized well? Do people, okay, that's fantastic. I figured if San Joaquin County was talking about it, we were already, should have already done it, but.
We were ahead of it.
Yeah, I figured that, but I thought I might ask, because I was excited and I thought that was a good use. And I said, I have a question for my SHRA meeting today. So, thank you both, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I covered all my questions. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. I think the only comment that I wanted just to confirm is that services from the MHSA, from those receiving, so services from MHSA residents will be the same for those who are non-MHSA residents?
They will be the same, but then I think they'll be augmented. We could report back. I don't know specifically what the difference is between what's provided for.
So usually the MHSA is the actual social workers from the county
Okay.
service their clients. So the 15 are serviced by the county. Then the other ones are Lutheran Social Services, and they're really meeting the client where they are and sitting down and talking about kind of what their plan is in resident services. And you'll see this throughout all of the SHRA affordable housing projects, that we always require a certain level of resident services, but it'll vary depending on the population. So let's say if this was a family development, we'd be looking at after-school type programs, things for summer youth, that really cater towards families. Since obviously this isn't, then it will be something that is really addressing the exact things that Commissioner Ross brought up in terms of, stabilization, because we do a housing first, making sure that they're getting the services they need, if they're ready to move into job training, all those types.
Okay. And as this is also a transitional housing program sort of thing, right? Permanent housing? Okay, perfect.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do this.
No, that's good. No. It's fine. I just wanted to confirm because I saw it said permanent and/or transitional.
Oh, did it?
I believe it said that.
Shouldn't, but
Okay.
where that is, and I'll remove it.
All right, no problem. All right, thank you. Okay, so with that, Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
We don't have any, no.
All right, I would like to ask commissioners for a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
All right, moved by Commissioner Nunley and second by Commissioner Wu. All right, and is there any objections? And if there aren't, we will adopt the motion to adopt the resolution. And since there are no objections, I believe the motion passes. Do we have to do roll call? Okay. All right, so there are no objections, the motion passes. Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item number 3. Approval of application for home key funds from the State Department of Housing and Community Development in the amount of $20,020,000 and conditional loan and grant commitment with 1413 Howell LP in the amount of $20,420,000 for the Ardent Star project located at 1413 Howell Avenue. And I believe there is also a presentation for this from staff.
Yes. Good afternoon. Again, Vicki Smith with SHRA. And as the chair mentioned, this recommends approval of an application to the state of California for home key funds for the Ardent Star Home Key project. And we will be applying for $20 million in home key funds, and then we'll be proposing to allocate $20 million in local loan grant funds. The proposed project will convert the hotel at 1413 Howe Avenue into 71 studios, 51 bedroom units, and 2 manager units. And this will be permanent supportive housing for low-income seniors, 55 and over. The project will provide amenities that include a common area lounge, gathering area, pet area, barbecue area, picnic tables, laundry facility, exercise room, and community room. This project is, as mentioned previously, is very close to transportation and services. There will be 24/7 desk coverage and 3 full-time case managers for the residents. 2 case managers will be funded from the county's MHSA, Mental Health Services Act program. And in addition, 15 units at this particular complex are going to be referrals from the county's adult protective services, which is really unique. So our partners in this project include John Stewart and Hope Cooperative, and representatives are here with us today. And both the entities are serving as co-developers for this project. John Stewart will serve as the asset manager and property manager, and Hope Cooperative as the resident supportive services manager. SHRA has undertaken several successful projects with both groups, including Villa Hardin, which was a partnership with John Stewart, and Sunrise Point, which was a partnership with Hope and Jamboree. Again, applications are speedy. We submit it as soon as possible after the approval by the board and after we can get everything together. And construction of the improvements commences shortly thereafter, and it's supposed to be complete within 12 months. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. And now I transition for questions from Commissioner Nunley.
Thank you again for the presentation. I know it was almost the same thing, right? But you do great each time. Thank you for giving me the ages, because I wondered when it said homeless seniors and you said 55 and older. Now, does that, if there are 2 individuals, do both, or is just one has to be the 55? Just one? Yeah, I kind of figured.
Just one.
Okay. And this is 122 units, 71 studios, and 51 one-bedroom.
Yes.
So you have a little bit more of a mix here. And this one also has 30 units for the mental health, so a little bit more than the last one, which is all really great. Again, you're looking at individuals, 30% of the average median income, I believe, for our area.
Area median.
Yeah. And then the same question, well, the other thing, it also mentioned that related entity, which I guess is also, as the attorney just mentioned on the last one, it's because they create a special LP for this project. But even though there's that, the original or the one that's behind it is an established entity that has done many of these, if I'm not mistaken. And then the same question on the contract for the construction and the architect, which maybe one of the others are here. Are they looking at any internship for those that are underserved in their particular trades or anything like that, so that there's opportunities there?
What do you all want?
Sure. Okay. Hi. Hi, Commissioners. I'm Jenny Collins from John Stewart Company. I think our answer would be the same as the other project, is that it will be a prevailing wage project, and that the trades, the contractors themselves hire interns, but as far as particularly, I think I'd have to get some more information on that. But, is that right, Dawn? Does that sound right? Like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. Hi, I'm Don. I'm Don. I work
He's
with
my boss.
Jenny at John Stewart Company, and typically on our, we only develop affordable housing, and on all of our projects, which are always publicly funded, we have workforce requirements, and we haven't selected a GC yet, so that'll be something.
We have actually.
We have?
Yeah, I think. Yes, but no, we're not very far along.
Okay, anyway, that'll be something we negotiate with them as we get a little further down the road and draw up a contract that you all will approve.
Yeah, and I would just hope, maybe, as you said, it's, you go for the trades and you're doing the internship. Is it also something where you try and recruit in the area, so like maybe the youth here in Sacramento County can be on some of those as opposed to, you know, if they're...
And definitely, we've tried to do that, and we have done that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
What projects have you done that on? What have you done?
In Sacramento?
Yes, where you utilize youth and residents in there. What projects have you done?
We developed, Jenny and I both worked on the Shasta Hotel renovation on 10th Street nearby, and we worked with Mid-State Construction, and I know they had some interns. I'm not certain about the answer to your question about local youth, honestly.
Okay. So here's my comment. I'm going to echo what Commissioner Nunn has said. It for our future projects, I really think that my recommendation would be that we try to give people work opportunities. I mean, we're putting in other interesting contractual possibilities. I don't know if we can do it, but getting people to work from here, because from our various communities, because typically what, and I know this, they will hire, yes, they'll hire interns and they'll hire folks, but they won't necessarily be from that neighborhood. And so the people that are needing the housing, but also needing other kind of experiences to move forward, don't always get that. So I don't know if that's an ability to require that in future ones, but if you can't, because I just got a call, I'm not going to say who it is, I just got a call from a senator friend of mine, and they're looking at the same issue, because they're saying their workforce is not diversified, it's not including other people. So these are public projects for people who are low income.
And I should have included in my apologies in the presentation, but all of our projects, when we use federal funds, have Section 3 requirements, which is the requirement the agency has to outreach to communities, utilize public housing residents and Section 8 residents, you know, try to find low-income workers from the area. So all of our,
So they're required to do that?
they are required to do that.
And we
Yes.
check to say, hey,
Yes.
did you hire someone that's being approved? Okay, that's
Yes.
it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I apologize. That should,
No,
that should have been said the first time it was.
No, that's an
Yeah.
important one, because she'll probably keep bringing it up, and I'll bring it up too, because I think it's important. I do have a question. I did hear kitchenettes on this one.
There absolutely will be
There
kitchens.
will,
Yeah.
even though it's not listed. When I read it, I didn't see it.
Well,
When you
I
read
just
it-
listed amenities. I mean, I think a kitchenette, these are permanent homes. These are permanent
Okay,
units.
so it's always, okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure,
Absolutely.
I think, I knew you said it, but I didn't.
And then that's also a requirement of the project-based vouchers, is that they have some type of kitchenette or.
Oh,
something
okay.
to cook. So
That's
that's why
fantastic.
we always, if they don't have it, we retrofit.
Okay, that's fantastic. Excellent, thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Ross. Now recognizing Commissioner Morgan. Just want to do a friendly reminder, Commissioners, please, if you have any questions, just light up your mic and I'll be able to call on you. Commissioner Morgan?
I was going to mention the Section 3 thing, but somebody stole thunder on that, so I will mention, because there was a question earlier creating anyone advocating for transportation. There's a bus 87 stop right in front of the corner of the property there, and it's within walking distance of both the 13 and the 82.
Go ahead, Commissioner Ross.
It's a very inconsequential comment, but I do take deference with age 55. I'm not there yet, but being called a senior, I'm just sure, I'm getting close. AARP is starting to send me things, and
I'll buy it.
I don't know. Anyway, no, that's fantastic that people that are age 55 can get in there. That's fantastic. I still will consider them young, especially when I get there. Thank you.
All right, great, thank you, Commissioners. Since there are no additional questions from Commissioners, Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
No public comments.
Okay, thank you. Now I would like to ask Commissioners for a motion to approve the resolution.
Move staff recommendation.
Okay.
Everybody's fast. We don't get it.
Recognizing motion for it to be moved by Commissioner Morgan and second by Commissioner Nunley. All right, if there are no objections, we will adopt the motion to adopt the resolution. Hearing that there are no objections, the motion will pass. I will now move on to agenda item number 4, approval to amend Riverview Plaza Associates Limited Partnerships Agreement for the rehabilitation at Riverview Plaza Apartments. And I do believe that there is a presentation for this.
A very brief one.
All right,
Right.
take it away.
Good afternoon, Commission. My name is Mark Hamilton. I am the Director of our Rental Assistance Demonstration Program here at the agency. So in front of you, or part of that staff report that was submitted, was in regards to an amendment of the original LPA for the Riverview Plaza apartment building. It's part of our latest RAD project that's also part of 2 other public housing communities. And what this amendment to this LPA will allow us to do is to transfer the asset from the existing partnership over to the housing authority, and will allow for a clean transition of all 3 properties to the new tax credit partnership at close of escrow. And that's it in a nutshell.
All right, thank you. Are there any comments or questions from Commissioners? All right, Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
We have none.
Okay, I would like to,
Why did the past property, I guess the owner, I don't know if they're, why did they want to get out?
So a little bit of background, and I believe this was also provided in the staff report, but this is a property that the agency was involved with back in 1989. It's one of the first original tax credit properties. And it started, as most tax credit partnerships do, with a general partner and a limited partner. At some point in the early 2000s, I believe in 2008, the original limited partner left, exited the partnership, and the housing authority resumed the role of the limited partner in that structure. Currently, the general partner is SHDC, which is the Sacramento Development Corporation. and the board of that is the Board of Supervisors. So that's the current structure. And so to make it clean, in order to have all of the elements under the Housing Authority of the City of Sacramento, we're having a distribution within the partnership that allows that physical asset to move to the limited partner, which in this case is the Housing Authority, who also owns those other 2 public housing properties. So nothing fundamentally wrong with the existing partnership, but in order to get new credits for the building, we have to create a new tax credit partnership.
Okay. I didn't look, I didn't, you explained it. Not that it was bad, I just didn't.
No worries.
Get that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Ross. Recognizing Commissioner Morgan.
Excuse me if I'm mistaken, but I thought we had transferred it out of the city's control entirely into SHRA about a year ago?
No. We were looking, to answer your question, we were looking to convert this property as an individual project about a year ago. And we had started with doing an option to look at moving and transferring the asset from the existing partnership to potentially a new partnership. Seeing as that deal did not go through, we didn't proceed with the transfer of the asset to SHRA, the Sacramento Housing Authority Repositioning Program Incorporated.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. Just to double check, Madam Clerk, were there any public comments?
No public comments.
Great, thank you. I would like to ask the Commissioners for a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion first.
I'll second it.
I want to do it.
Motion by Commissioner Ross, a second by Commissioner Morgan. If there is no objection, we will adopt the motion to adopt the resolution. Hearing that there are no objectives, the motion passes. We will now move on to agenda item number 5, RVP, formerly Central City 2, Rental Assistance Demonstration number 3, Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act, TEFRA, and approval of final tax exempt bond and loan documents. I believe we have a presentation from staff.
Yes, good afternoon, Chair and members of the Commission. My name is Seth White. I'm a Housing Finance Analyst at the SHRA. With regards to the RVP Group project, now this is formerly Central City 2, RAD 3, the aforementioned project that Mark referenced. Staff is requesting approval to allocate $990,000 in Housing Authority funds to the project and approval of the final tax-exempt mortgage revenue bond and loan documents with the developer, Sacramento Housing and Repositioning Program. This project is a continuation of the Housing Authority's plan to transition its portfolio of public housing units to the Rental Assistance Demonstration Program. The project includes a rehabilitation of 3 separate senior properties, Big Trees located at 2516 H Street, which consists of 29 one-bedroom apartments, Pine Knoll located at 917 38th Street, consisting of 31 bedroom units, and Riverview Plaza located at 600 High Street, which consists of 123 one-bedroom apartments and 1 two-bedroom manager's unit. The project will be managed by the Housing Authority of the City of Sacramento, and Life Steps will be providing on-site resident services and case management. A little bit of background: in June of 2022, the City Council and the Housing Authority approved the bond issuance and the original loan commitments. In September of 2022, the developer requested gap financing in the amount of $990,000 to cover an increase in project costs, and then in November of 22, the developer was successfully awarded those low-income housing tax credits and mortgage revenue bonds. The closing of the project is projected, or the closing of project financing is anticipated in mid-May. The attached report is submitted for your review prior to final approval at the City of Sacramento. Staff is available to address any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions from Commissioners? All right, seeing as there are no questions, Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
No public comments.
Oh.
Move back for a recommendation.
Motion to move the resolution by Commissioner Morgan and second by Commissioner Wu. All right. If there are no objections, we will adopt the motion to adopt the resolution. Hearing that there are no objections, the motion passes. Thank you. We will now move on to agenda item number 6, change in the times to the Sacramento Housing and Redevelopment Commission, SHRC, bylaws. There will be a presentation from staff.
Good afternoon, Chair Manfor and Commissioners. Jim Shields with SHRA. Good to see you again. At your last meeting on March 1st, 2023, Commission had asked staff to come back with some recommendations for the change in time. Specifically, you asked for specific options, and the 2 options you asked for were to look at starting times of either 4:30 or 5 o'clock. So changing the regular meeting time would require an amendment to the bylaws per section 5.1 of the bylaws. The bylaws may be amended upon a vote of the majority of the duly appointed members of the commission at any regular or special meeting when at least 7 days written notice has been previously given to all members. The required notice was given to you on March 28th, so we've met all the requirements. So this concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions you may have, and you're going to have a conversation about the timing.
Okay, great.
We can talk about the process.
Great, thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments before we open up the item for discussion?
No public comments.
All right, the item is now open for discussion. Commissioners? Recognizing Commissioner Ramos.
Just question process-wise, so, and I see it's on the agenda, the whole discussion, so are we giving direction and then we're going to vote next meeting, or are you guys looking for a motion, or?
You have the authority to make a motion or make a recommendation and motion tonight because you've been given the notice period, so absolutely you can do that today.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Seeing as there are no additional comments or discussion for this, is there a motion to move the meeting time to 4:30 p.m.? All right, motion has been moved by Commissioner Stajabu and seconded by Commissioner Wu. Are there any objections or from other commissioners? Commissioner Ross?
Sure. I prefer 5, so I would just hold me my comment. I know we already spoke about it at like last time, but I would prefer 5 and would be amenable to that.
Okay, great. I think this is one of the questions that I want to ask, Clerk. I know we shouldn't be asking right now because we just did a vote, but for my understanding, the motion is to pass. Motion is passed based on the majority vote, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and since there's only one objection.
So he would be so anyone that wants to say no, they can just put that vote in, and then it'll be marked.
So is it appropriate for us to do a roll call?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, well, just before that, I'm sorry, I do have a question.
Go ahead, recognizing Commissioner Nunley, and then.
So the motion currently is 4:30, and I assume we don't want to have competing motions or whatever, so we'll just do this first one. If it passes, fine. If it doesn't, then we may have to go to a second one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Question would be for me. My last proposal was, at the last meeting, was a 4, I think it was a 4 o'clock and a 6 o'clock. I don't know if a half hour makes a difference for the SHRA staff. It may not.
Point of order, that was decided last time and voted down. Also, it was not noticed that that be an option at this one. So at this meeting, if I'm not mistaken, we only have the 2 options in front of us.
That's correct.
I don't believe I proposed 4:30. I proposed a 4 and a 6. I did not propose a 4:30 and a 5.
It doesn't matter because it's not on the agenda.
Is that true?
That's correct.
So we can not make new proposals?
Yes, because it won't meet the 7-day notice period requirement.
I see. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Once again, the motion was requested by Commissioner Sajabu and seconded by Commissioner Wu.
I can do a roll call. Chair Manfor?
Aye.
Chair Duncan?
Aye.
Commissioner Morgan?
Aye.
Commissioner Nunley?
No.
Commissioner Osmany? Aye. Commissioner Ramos? I believe you are no, right?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Ross?
Aye.
Commissioner Sajabu?
Aye.
Commissioner Starks? Oh, he's absent. And Commissioner Wu?
Aye.
Okay, so motion carries.
All right, thank you. Motion carried. All right, we will, okay, we will now move on to the executive director's reports.
Just a couple of quick items. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 3rd. So May 3rd, we will see you back here. And then I also wanted to congratulate Commissioner Wu on his reappointment to the commission for another term. It's extended through 2026. So excited to have you on board, and those are the only items that I have.
Thank you. The next agenda item is Commissioner Chair report. The only thing that I want to report is just I would like to recognize Executive Director LaSalle and celebrate her recognition during the month of March, which was Women's History Month, where she was recognized as this year's Senate 8, District 8 Women of the Year. So I just want to congratulate her. All right, and with that, are there any additional recognition or celebration commission members would like to share?
So, May 5th, is it 4:30 now? What time do we, okay. We'll meet at that time?
4:30.
Okay.
Okay, and next part of the agenda item is commission member reports. Are there any commission member reports? All right, so there are no other business to discuss, and with that, our meeting will now be adjourned. Thank you.